So I was just talking about how I wanted to be an encouragement to anyone out there that feels like they're having a really dry time, a dry season, or they feel like they can't hear from God. Um, I always believe that the Lord is willing to speak to us, and He does mature us when we go through um, seasons where it's different, where it's hard, where we, perhaps don't hear from like we normally do. But I know His intent and His heart for us is good, and He's always willing. So maybe even if it's a hard time, He's going to speak to you in just a different way. There's many ways that the Lord can get our attention. I mean, He can use a billboard sign. He can use it to confirm something. A lot of times I keep things to myself because, with Siri and all technology out there, I just want to make sure not everyone, is going to try to confirm something. I really, really want God to do it. So for some major things in my life, I may keep it to myself. And I'll just so enjoy when the Lord confirms something that I've asked Him about, an important decision I need to make, etc. I think it's good to have mentors in your life for accountability. Wise people, are wise because they hang around with other wise people. So I think having someone who has wisdom, who's older in the Lord than you, a counselor is great. But through them, through your mentors, through your pastors, you're going to be able to maybe clear the airwaves, get wisdom on things that may be blocking you hearing. Even sin in our life can block and keep us from hearing from the Lord. So there's sometimes, some key things that we need to do. And I think even I'll go as far as to say, we could be praying our face off. We could be praying in the Spirit. We could be making sure we get our quiet time in the morning and pray, rush, pray, really fast while we're in the car on the way to work. But we might not be really spending time with God, but it is in spending that quality time with the Lord that you'll have peace. You'll kind of be able to reset if you've been going through a storm, but you'll have the opportunity to hear His heart, get guidance from Him. Once again, especially reading His Word. And we haven't even talked about dreams. Dreams are a way that the Lord communicates with us. I will talk later about this, but just to let you know, I've been trained through John Paul Jackson's ministry on dream interpretation. I have taken several teams out to festivals like Sundance Film Festivals. I was privileged to do that with Cindy McGill years ago, and I think I went for 3 years in a row. And to other small venues and places, we would go there, and we would go there and use dream interpretation as a tool for evangelism, to communicate with people, because everyone dreams, and we spend a third of our life dreaming. So getting to the point of dreams, the Lord may be speaking to you in your dream life. He may be giving you some hints. John Paul had taught us, if God gives you a vision, it's very clear, and you pretty much remember that. It's clear. The encounter that you have in a vision, an open vision, a vision you might have in a dream, but when something is just real clear. But dreams are often with symbolism, to where you have to seek the Lord, ask Him, pray, or look at the symbolisms in your dream. But the Lord does use those night seasons to speak with mankind, whether you know the Lord or you don't know the Lord. And we know, many of us, that He has given us warnings in dreams, or He's putting a loved one on our heart to pray for. And oftentimes we'll find out later that they were maybe in a car accident, or they were almost in a tragedy, and you connected and you found out because you prayed, because you got the heads up from the Lord. I mean, God's always willing to speak. I mean, just getting back to the subject of hearing from God, or knowing that we serve a God that does speak, that he's willing to speak, that he wants to communicate with us, that he loves us. In your dreams, the Lord may put someone's name. Like my sister's name is Anna, and I always laugh because her name means grace. But I always joke and say, oh, you're probably in a lot of people's dreams because the Lord wants to just use your name for that individual that happens to know you. But say my sister's name was in a dream, Grace, with the rest of the dream, whatever played out, he might be saying, I'm going to give you grace for this. Perhaps it had something to do with seeking a new job or a new course or a possible move for your family. And the name Grace is in there. Or my daughter's name is Serena, and it means peace, or my son Noah's name is rest and comfort. But sometimes when we're interpreting our dreams, we can look at the different elements, and it will help us understand the theme of the dream. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it a warning? So I'm not going to get too much into dream interpretation, but just sharing that the Lord indeed speaks to so many people. He warns people. Throughout the Bible, obviously, we know Joseph interpreted Pharaoh's dreams, and that was very, very important. And it was a blessing that God had a man that he had gifted to understand, just like Daniel. And it changed not just a nation, it changed the world. It saved the world from a famine. So that's another way, I'll be kind of fun here, pushing the envelope a little bit, but sometimes the Lord can speak to you through nature. Sometimes me and my daughter can hear the birds, and recently we were on many occasions, but in this last season of our life, let's say the last 9 months, we would both hear the birds saying, we need you, we need you, we need you. And it's like, you just can't make that up. And we took it as an encouragement for the things that the Lord was having us do at the time, our purpose. And so here's proof that it was the Lord speaking, because we ended up going a period of time after the initial hearing the birds saying, we need you. We went to a friend's house, and my daughter was outside when we were there. And she goes, Mom, the we need you birds, they're here. And it was so funny because those same birds were across town about 10 miles away. And we heard, we need you, we need you, we need you. So we just laughed about it. Now, whether or not you believe that or not doesn't matter to me. Your dog can minister to you if he's a peaceful dog, which we have this huge Newfoundland, and he's so sweet and peaceful. But as far as the Lord speaking, well, hey, did he not speak through a donkey in the Bible? You can read that. Well, I'm just kind of touching on a couple things, letting you know who I am. I am going to put out more sharing, videos with people to hope to encourage people. I don't claim to be a great teacher. Yes, I've been to 4 different Bible schools. I just love God. And I will say this, and I hope to say it often. But when I die and I get to heaven, I'm going straight to class. There's so much more that we can know in God. And through all the trials that I've gone through in my walk with the Lord these 40 years, through the hard times that he has allowed, that strengthened me and helped grow me up, when I saw his hand come in and deliver and always come, he always does, and bring the breakthroughs, at the end of that, at the light at the end of that tunnel, I would just be so amazed, and I would just say, oh Lord, I don't know you. This is how much I know you. On the tip of my finger, it says that eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor has it even entered into the heart of man, the things that God has prepared for those who love him. Now, whether that pertains to your still being on the earth here, or has to do with when we get to heaven, I just know there's so much more in God. And if I think of any themes in my life calling or ministry that I want people to know, is that there's so much more to know in the Lord. So I'm on that journey. And if you want to join me on that journey, then my name is Gina Prince. I live here in Franklin, Tennessee, and I will be putting out more of these videos. And thank you for listening.